Hello all, it's time for us to get the reading done for the month of September. I apologize, I had intended to have this out a little earlier, but this week has had its ups and downs, and I was not able to record the video until now. So let's go ahead and see what they've got to say and move on with this month, as we have the solstice, the equinox this month as well, as we move into fall. Alrighty, so our dice came down with the number 10, and this is the 10th house, which is about career, goals, fame, success, achievement, and public image, which I believe was our one for last month as well. So we're still falling into that same energy. Now the Yadinker is also giving us Sankofa, so it means go back to fetch it. The wisdom of learning from the past to build for the future. It is not a taboo to return and fetch it when you have forgotten. Now, again, this is in the context of how we deal with career, how we deal with goals, fame, success, achievements, and public images. And there has been much in these last few weeks about how some images have been changed and how we need to keep in mind what that actually means for now versus what we did in the past. So when we look at the bones, we have our three main ones, and we see that these two are crossed. So this one is the work bone, which is not surprising considering we're talking about one of the 10th house was the career one. This one is social, that one is home. Now I'm going to just start here briefly. We have one of the rib bones here next to the home bone. So there's going to be much more about how we're getting inspiration, how our homes are going to also provide us the respite we need. So I know that the weather right now here in California, we're about to have some heat waves that are starting up. And so staying indoors in some ways is going to be the best thing we can do. But we want to be comfortable, and how we can find inspiration with that, but not have it be like it was when we were all sort of sequestered in during COVID. So just be open to seeing what your home brings you. But as it does, it also brings us into the work bone. And so there's an aspect of we may be working from home a bit more, but definitely the sense of how are we finding inspiration in our homes that are also allowing us to carry it into work. And we have the work bone coming here, and it lands on top of the shell, which is turned inward. So a lot of our work here in this next month is going to continue to be inwardly focused. And remembering what we have happened in the past so that we can bring it into the future. Now we also have the copper piece directly under the work bone. And again, spirit is also very focused on this. It's about really looking inward and having some of those frank discussions with what's going on in the world. How is this affecting our careers? How is our goals being influenced by all this? How is those who seek fame, or those who need to move away from fame, how we look at success and those achievements and that public image most of all, because we've really got to start accessing what have people done for the lure of public image, and more likely public success and fame, and how they believe too that it will also inoculate them from being held accountable, and what this has done for all of us and our security. Because again, when we look back in the past, we want to look back at those who made choices that ultimately ended up harming all of us because they were more concerned with their public image, they were more concerned with their fame and their success. And this is also supported by the quartz piece, which is about memory, which is about going into the past, and it's about viewing it. Now we've got one of the balance bones, or tailbones, so we've got balance that needs to be looked at with this element of the past, as well as at least two of the rib bones. And with that aspect of the inspiration is we got to balance what were truly inspirational things for us in the past and what were the folly ideas. Because some of the folly ideas weren't necessarily bad, they were just incomplete. And we need to understand and learn from them on about what needs to be updated and adapted to the now. It may have been that the idea at the time wasn't great because the infrastructure wasn't in place to be able to capture it as it is now. So it's about understanding that, and that in its own way is going to have a connection on our work. But equally, the crystal is in parallel with the social bone, and our social bone, which has got another rib bone, is here and has contact with the shell. It means there's going to continue to be a lot of internal work on what does it mean for our careers, our goals, our fame, our success, our achievements, and public image, and how we have basically let people dictate that for us, but also who have we let run too wild with it. That's all going to be at work here. Now down here we do have the broken rib bone, which is focused towards the inside in the shell, which is also saying we need to be watching about how we easily demonize others. We don't want to necessarily demonize them, but we need to hold them accountable. And holding accountable will often be perceived by those who need to be held accountable as being demonized, as opposed to accountability. So we need to be watching that, and we also need to be noticing that there is a lot of support behind that. Then there's a lot of things that we have to, again, wield it carefully. So we've got also here a couple of our spinal bones, that there are going to be some new thoughts coming in and things that we need to be very much aware of in these remaining few months before the midterm elections. Whatever decision is going to be made on that day of the elections is a day that's not one we can't go back from. We can only go forward from, and let it be one that strengthens the idea that we all have reason to be here equally and want to help each other, not hurt each other. So that is our reading for the month of September. I hope this has been useful, and I hope the ancestors and the Orishas and all the spirits of the nature are with you and helping you get through this time for what we have in the future. Ashe.